Hey everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. This is Kana and you're in my corner. I'm here with my super special awesome guest who's waiting on food, which I would really like some food right now. And I'm wondering, can you say hi to everybody and introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, this is Sam Riegel, voiceover in Los Angeles, and I'm very excited to be here.
And he's very crisp and clear, and we need pom-poms too. That would make it even more exciting. Just to say.
I would love to do a backflip on the radio.
Somebody can hear you fall. No, I'm kidding.
Yes.
I'm terrible at that kind of stuff, so I'd probably end up thunking my head. But I was curious. I went through all of your, resume, all the places I can find on the internet. I don't have super special, awesome hacking powers. So I, went off Wikipedia and IMDb, and you've pretty much had your hand in everything from writing to producing to voice acting. It seems kind of interesting to know that you've pretty much done everything around the board.
Yeah, it's been awesome, especially in the last few years, to really branch out from voice acting into all kinds of other stuff. I like you said, I've been directing a lot of video games lately, voice directing for animation and anime, and also writing a good deal of stuff for anime and for video games mostly. And it's been great, and it's been exciting to just work in all parts of the industry, and it's really been a dream of mine since I was a kid to be a performer. But I'm finding that, like, being a performer doesn't just mean acting. Being involved with the whole process from start to finish. Like right now I'm writing a video game, and how cool is that? I might not even do any acting in the game, but it's so fun to know that, like, kids out there will be playing a game that I wrote and stuff, and it's really been a great experience to branch out, especially in the last couple of years.
And now let's rewind a little bit. How did you originally get your start in acting, performing, stage, all that sort of stuff?
Well, when I was very young, a little boy, I did lots of local theater productions, like I'm sure many of your listeners do, like local community theater, and I did some, like, dinner theater too, where they eat while you're trying to sing Oliver, and from there the jobs just got a little bigger and eventually I ended up being in the national tour of Les Miserables as Gavroche when I was like 12 years old, and that led to a stint on Broadway in The Sound of Music, which moved me to New York as a teenager. It's a long story, but by and large, I've just been performing my whole life, and after college, I really got into voiceover hardcore, and that's when I started doing stuff in New York, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and that kind of stuff, and that broke me in.
And how were you introduced to anime?
I was introduced to anime probably from Rachel Lillis. I'm sure some of your listeners know who she is, but I was doing, as you can tell by my voice, it's kind of a nerdy, my natural speaking voice is kind of nerdy and crisp. And, so I was doing a lot of English as a second language learning tapes, for, like, students, So I would say things like, the ball is red. What color is the ball? And I was doing one of those with Rachel Lillis, and she said, hey, you know what? You should go across the hall and audition for this new show called Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was like, okay, sure. And so I did, and I got a part on it, and that led to many other 4Kids Productions type shows, and then lots of other anime around New York, from Central Park Media and Media Blasters and all these. It was sort of the heyday of anime, and I got in right when it was kind of like getting huge.
And it must have been really interesting to find that there were all these people, all these both young and old, who were attracted to essentially cartoons. That must have been kind of surreal.
Yeah, it was. That's absolutely right. Surreal, because in America, we think of cartoons mainly as kids entertainment, and it's just not that way in Japan. And it was amazing to work on these shows that were mysteries and mecha robots, and also like touching character stories, and like stuff for adults, really crazy, silly stuff for kids. Like, it was such a broad range of stuff that I didn't even know existed, that it was really fun, and still is fun. I'm talking about anime like it doesn't exist anymore, but it does, and it's still great to work in anime, because it's just, you never know what you're going to get, and it makes it pretty exciting to go to work every day.
Definitely. One day you can be yelling at the top of your lungs. The other day you can be a shadowy figure. It's always different. So it must be kind of a stress reliever to get into the booth.
Absolutely. It's a stress reliever, and really, it's the best kind of training for a voice actor, which is why you nowadays you hear lots of anime voice actors all over the place. Commercials, video games, Disney animation shows, movies, because the voice actors that got their start in anime and still do anime, it's like we don't get cast to do the same part over and over and over again, like maybe on Disney cartoons or whatever. We get cast to play monsters, villains, good guys, young guys, old guys, guys who are secretly robots, guys who are secretly girls. Like, it's the best kind of training you will ever get as a voice actor.
And since you started quite a bit ago in the industry, you've gotten to see it grow sort of in strides. I'm curious, what technological advance would you say is one of the greatest between then and now?
Well, for totally selfish reasons, the internet has made recording things for different clients and stuff way easier. So, like, when I started off doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series in 2003, I lived in New York. But 2 years later, I decided to move to LA, and I was worried that they were going to fire me. But they said, you know what? I think we can do this just over the internet. If you get some equipment and set it up at home, the other three turtles can be in the studio in New York, and you can be at your house in LA and be right there in the booth with us. And I was like, that's great. Tell me what to buy. So it helped me keep that job for the whole time, and I couldn't have done it otherwise. And now every audition I do is from home, and a lot of the jobs that I do is from home, and it really, even directing. Like, I've directed people in Japan, for sitting in a studio in Los Angeles. I just directed someone in New Zealand from a studio in Los Angeles. And it really just opens up the world to, like, different talent and different writers and different performers all over the place, and it's been great.
I actually haven't heard of directing from home. I've heard quite commonly, that voice actors submit, audition tapes and things like that from their home studio. But I would think that directing would be sort of hard if you're not, getting everything instantaneously. But I'm assuming you have a system that works. Would you be willing to explain that a little bit?
Well, the two instances that I was talking about of directing, I was actually in a sound studio in Los Angeles, and the actor was in a sound studio across the world. So they have some home studios have it now too. There are systems like ISDN or what's it called, Source Connect, in which you can hear the performer 6,000 miles away. Even clearer than you're hearing me right now on Skype, and it's broadcast quality audio, and it's instantaneous. So, and the same goes the other way. So the performer can hear my voice crystal clear instantaneously. So to direct voices, all you really need is it helps if you can see the performer and what they're doing and how they're physicalizing their action and where they're standing from, how far they're standing from the microphone and stuff. But it's not 100% necessary. So on rare occasions when you want to work with someone across the world, it's quite possible now to do it.
Wow, and here I thought broadcasting a radio station was kind of revolutionary in terms of technology, but I still have a long way to go now.
Exactly. Yeah, and there's some band, like I heard of some bands that there's three members of the band and they don't even live in the same state. None of them do, and they all like meet up online and they record simultaneously. They record whole albums. I forget who they're called. Maybe one of your listeners knows what I'm talking about.
I think that whole thing is fascinating because I get the chance to hear, many different parts of the industry, like motion capture and inside the studio, but it's very rare that I get to hear about, the directing portion or the writing portion, especially when you're connecting to people all over the world like that, depending where they're at.
Directing is fun. I mean, as an actor, as a voice actor especially, you only get to really interact with one person a day, which is the director of whatever session you're working on. So as a voice actor, I could work all day and only talk to one person. But as a voice director, I get to talk to every actor who comes in. I get to talk to the casting people, the producers, the engineer, the session coordinator, the writers, the developers, and it's much more, interactive. An interactive part of the business to sit behind the director's chair than it is to be an actor.
And since you essentially started as a voice actor, you're probably able to, sympathize with whoever it is you're directing and give them a little bit easier explanation on how to get the line you want.
Absolutely, and I totally understand like where they're standing and what they're trying to do. So I really do feel it helps me as a director to know to have been there and still am there every day. And it really helps me communicate what I'm trying to get out of them. Voice acting, especially for video games, is such a precise, intricate form of art. You're not just acting, you're acting under wild constraints. So you can't get too loud, you can't get too soft, you can't pop your P's, you can't pop your B's, you can't turn your head. But you also have to keep it within a certain time frame. If you're doing anime recording, you have to match the lip flap exactly. It's really hard. And who better to know how to get it right than someone who does it for a living? So it really does help me talk to the actor and get the kind of performances that we're looking for without totally destroying their voice or making the actor mad or whatever. And I pride myself on good communication with the actor.
But since you're in LA, I've heard that there's so much video game work there now. Anime is more or less gone towards Dallas and a few other places scattered here and there. But I've heard California is such a big hotspot for video games.
It is. It is. We do. I'm trying to put it in percentages here. I'd say now at least half of the work that I do is video games. Which is a lot. And this week I'm directing a video game, and next week I'm supposed to act in a different video game, and on Friday I was acting in a different video game, and games are so popular, and there's kind of a lot of money in them, so they keep making them, and we've all sort of had to shift gears from anime and animation to a lot more yelling and, man down, get to the chopper, all that stuff, for video games.
They're also so much bigger than, anime or a feature film or just regular cartoons. I mean, I've heard these scripts can be Harry Potter sizes.
Oh yeah, they're huge. I just worked on it on Fallout New Vegas, which is the sequel to Fallout 3. I was one of the voice directors, and I acted as a couple of the parts in that game. And they told me something like there were 50,000 lines of dialogue in that game, which is crazy amounts of dialogue. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's so massive. Some of the games are so massive. It takes months to record, and because a lot of these games are open world games or RPGs or even just, are built to be played for a long, long time, you really have to keep your focus from the start to the finish of the recording process on what you're trying to accomplish and what you've done along the way. Like, we might record one actor doing one half of a scene and then wait 3 weeks later to record the other actor in the scene and have to instantly recall, like, oh wait, was he yelling in that scene? Was he in the helicopter there? So should he be talking with a louder voice? How do we pronounce that word? It's really challenging. And so a lot of it is just staying organized.
And in the example you used, an RPG game, those can have so many cutscenes. That's an amazing amount, 50,000 pages. I don't want to be the person who wrote that.
50,000 lines.
Lines. I'm sorry.
Not quite pages, but still, it's pretty freaking long. And I have no idea how you go about writing something that massive. I think they had multiple writers, and I'm pretty sure they worked on that game for like 3 or 4 years before we even got in the recording studio. So it's pretty impressive.
They all shoved them in a basement, gave them cookies now and then, and didn't let them out for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. And for the actors too, some of the actors that we brought in for that game had thousands and thousands and thousands of lines. After a while, if you're just reading 100, 120, 140 lines an hour, your mouth starts to turn to jelly and the words just start looking like, mishmash. It doesn't even look like words anymore. It's just like an assortment of letters on the page. So I have to give a hand to all the actors, especially in that game, but in all of these massive games where it takes a lot of focus and concentration just to get through it, let alone to make it good.
Now, besides Fallout New Vegas, what other projects just came out or that are coming out that you can talk about would you like to tell the listeners about?
That's a very good question.
Well, I could remember those ones that the NDA is done for.
Exactly. It's like I can't remember what has come out and what has been announced and stuff. I'm looking through my IMDb page to see what's out right now. I was are you talking about as a director or as an actor?
Either are. Just anything you'd like to promote to anybody out there.
Oh, well, recent things that have come out. I was very proud of being a part of Transformers War for Cybertron. I played the voice of Starscream in that, and I finally got a chance to play it, and it is so fun, and I am so crazy in it. So I know that's been out for a couple months now, but it's new for me because I just got to play it this past weekend. What else has been out recently or has been announced? See, that's the problem with all this stuff. I don't know what's been announced. There are a couple of big games coming out that I can't talk about that I think everyone's going to really like. And I just played a part in World of Warcraft. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I can talk about. I'm so scared of getting sued.
We don't want to get you in trouble. That would be bad.
Exactly.
But we just want to make sure that all the listeners out there, know where they can see you in or what they should pick up at the store over other things. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah. There's actually going to be, I'm looking it up online right now to see if they've announced it yet. No, they haven't. But there's a great new series coming out on Hulu. It's an animation series that's going to be announced, I think, in 2 weeks. And it's going to be exclusively on Hulu. And it's a really fun animation series. So people stay tuned to like my Twitter feed or whatever. I will certainly announce it there. But my Twitter feed is @SamRiegel, and so I can announce new stuff there.
And do you do the Facebook thing, or do you also?
Oh wait! I just saw it on IMDb. It's been announced.
Oh yay!
Okay, so there's this great thing coming out. It's called Trailer Trash. It's a new animated series on Hulu, and it's just 5-minute episodes, and it's really funny and really crazy and really wild. And we've just finished recording the first season, and it's it is so funny and so not safe for work. I highly recommend it to anyone who uses Hulu. I think they're going to release most of the episodes on Hulu and some on Hulu Plus or whatever, but it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Called Trailer Trash. Check it out. I played a character called Light Beer.
Light beer. Are you a can of beer?
I'm not a can of beer, but I think I'd probably drink some.
And we'll make sure to look out for that. If there's any other announcements, you just do Twitter, you don't do Facebook or the website thing?
I do Facebook. I'm just terrible at it. I have a Facebook, like, whatever, fan page or whatever, like, actor page, and I never remember to update it. I do go to Twitter all the time, though.
And now, do you ever go to the convention circuit? Do you have anything planned for 2011?
Yeah, I do. I've been taking it easy lately because I've been writing a lot, and I also just moved and stuff. So I had to build my new studio in my house and stuff like that. So, but I do plan on going on some conventions this year. I think probably I'll be at Vegas later this year at Anime Vegas.
Oh, well, we will definitely see you then.
Oh, great. And there might be some other ones. There's two other ones that I'm just waiting to, like, book my plane tickets, so I don't want to talk it up and then not show up. So, but yeah, I will be at a few later this year. I'll be at Comic-Con also, and you can always find me somewhere. I'll be around. And
you'll keep your fans updated with the Twitter.
Oh yeah. Oh, heck yeah.
And is there anything else you want to say to the listeners out there?
Well, just that it's been really fun to talk to you, and I'm excited. I'm always excited to get a chance to talk to the fans and stuff. And if anyone wants to ever see what I look like, in addition to what my voice sounds like, I have all these weird, funny videos that I've made with my writing partner online. They're like these weird music videos that we've made, and you can see them all at RiegelAndBlatt.com. Hard spelling, RIEGEL and BLATT.com. But so if anyone wants to ever see what I look like, and in some of the videos, semi-naked, go ahead and check those out, and you'll get a kick out of them.
I actually watched some of those before this interview, so I had those in mind.
Good. I apologize for showing so much skin, but I can't help myself.
Oh, they were funny. A little not safe for work, but still funny.
Exactly.
And before we let you go, we usually ask everybody if they'd be willing to participate in a 91.8 The Fan tradition.
Okay, what's that?
We ask everybody if they'd be willing to do a radio bump for us.
Oh, I'd love to.
Awesome. This is actually very easy. We do put the bloopers up live on air, but we ask if you could say, my name is, you insert your name. I do this, you insert what you do, or a certain character or anything else you want to pimp out there. And you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan.
You're tuned into 91.8 The Fan? Okay.
Yes.
I will mess this up, I'm sure. Okay. Hello, my name is Sam Riegel. And I am the voice of Donatello on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
I love the ending, and you got the numbers right.
Nice.
Everybody has trouble with those numbers, but you did it.
Because they're not normal radio numbers. It's very confusing.
Yes, that's true. They're not. I apologize. We're abnormal.
Apology accepted.
But thank you so much for being on the show. It was an absolute pleasure.
Hey, thanks a lot, and have a great week.
You too. For anybody out there who missed this interview, you can catch it as long as you keep it tuned to 91.8 The Fan. We'll post it up on the website over at 918thefan.com within the next 2 days.